TNT Monster Truck Challenge. But can the old-timer compete with Carolina Crusher, Equalizer, No Problem, and the original Bigfoot? Stay tuned to find out. This is hallowed grounds for tractor pulling, the Wood County Fairgrounds in Bowling Green, Ohio, the home of the National Tractor Pulling Championship. But today on ESPN, the TNT Monster Truck Challenge visits Bowling Green. I'm Scott Douglas with Army Armstrong and Kris Chapman. Army Armstrong standing by with the last winner on the challenge, Gary Porter of the Carolina Crusher.
Well, thanks, Scott. We're standing with last week's winner, and we can't really call him an upset winner because he's been in the winner's circle before, but Gary, you did it with an old truck, and in 1990, new seems to be the word, and you come back and thump everybody with an old truck in Richmond, Virginia.
That's right, Army. You know, it's the same truck I was running last year. It was the heaviest truck at the event, and I ended up with the fastest time of the weekend. So, you know, the new design trucks are neat. I'm trying to build one, but it seems that my old truck is working fine now.
Let's talk about two trucks in particular. Number one, your new truck, and number two, the Bigfoot truck. That seems to be where all the controversy is. First of all, give me an update on your new truck.
Well, the new truck, you know, I did a tour out west. I was gone for like 10 weeks, and I got behind on it. I came home and started back to work on it, and some of the designs and stuff on it's not going to work, and so I'm having to, you know, sort of regroup and start over, and I hope to have it out here on the circuit in August.
What about the Bigfoot truck? Now, this is a truck that the penalty is going to run out real quick. Any points you're going to get, you better get it quick, because they say when he comes back, he's going to come on full boogaloo, and you know what that means.
That's right. I'm sure he'll come back full force, and when I bring my new truck out, it's coming out to beat him.
That you're looking at the Bigfoot 8 truck that has been temporarily banned by TNT. Again, the Bigfoot 4 truck is the one that's running right now. We understand the ban on Bigfoot 8, though, is only going to last a few more races, and then Andy Brass will come back full tilt. Well, the Clydesdale's been having a terrible run of luck lately. You may remember this shot in Dallas where seemingly a nice, calm run, but then he gets smacked trying to leave the arena by the wild hair. This put BENNETT Clark over on his roof. Then he went to Louisville after rebuilding what he could on the truck, but he didn't get everything 100%. There was a weak spot, and the weak spot was at the rear of the truck. Watch this wheel come off. The first time he hit the cars in Louisville, bang. It just takes that rear right wheel off of the truck. So BENNETT Clark has been having terrible problems. Well, they're not over. He's having engine problems in Bowling Green. Kris Chapman is standing by with Clydesdale's BENNETT Clark to talk about more problems.
Ben, it seems like the curse of Dallas is continuing to follow you.
Yeah, it seems to be that. After Dallas, we came back, we put a alcohol-injected motor in here. You know, we had a little trouble in Louisville, Kentucky. Come to here, and the motor's gone sour on us. We're just trying to get it straightened out.
What do you think it could be?
Well, it seems like the motor is running real rich right now, and we're trying to lean it out some to give it less fuel. I just seem to be getting too much fuel for what I'm giving it.
Boy, he doesn't have the mixture right again. You can see Clydesdale just is not getting it. First round competition against the Nightlife, and it'll be an easy run for Dave Wysorix. Nightlife recording the victory. Clydesdale just never got it going whatsoever, and the problems continue to be the mixture, the fuel mixture for the Clydesdale Chevrolet. And Dave Wysorix had a nice, smooth-looking run. He may be a guy to keep an eye on as this day continues. There you see right off the start, Clydesdale just never able to get it going. And it certainly continues to be the problems for the Clydesdale of the mixture in the engine, not right at all. Last week's winner, we talked about him a moment ago, the Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter, Waitsboro, North Carolina. His opponent will be the Wild Hair Chevrolet, Starvin' Marvin Smith out of Arnold, Missouri, who for so many years made his fame and fortune with the Stopper Chevrolet, now driving the Wild Hair. Riding it fast enough today to beat the Carolina Crusher as Gary Porter rolls on, getting the victory. We're going to look at it again as the Crusher, coming off a big win at Richmond, Virginia a week ago, is looking strong here in Bowling Green. Lots of room, you may notice, between the two sets of cars to get straightened out and get a nice straight shot. That is indeed what the Carolina Crusher did. Here's Gary Porter with Armor.
Awfully quick track out there tonight, Gary.
It is. The track's very tight, you know, very fast. The ramps, you know, are just perfect for speed. And The only problem I think I'm going to have tonight is maybe running out of a gear. You know, I chose the wrong gear selection in my transfer case for this course, and I'm not getting the speed out of it I would like to.
But everybody seems to be real happy. I mean, you guys seem to feel like, hey, we're back finally on a real good, safe course, and you're putting on a tremendous show.
It is. You know, the track is perfect. You know, the weather's perfect. It's cooled off, and everything's going good. If I just had a little bit taller gear in my truck, I would be, you know, really satisfied.
Kris Chapman is caught up with the Wild Hares' Marvin Smith. Kris?
Marvin, you had a pretty good run out there, but the motor didn't seem like it was firing just right. Is that true?
No, the motor's fine. What happened, my rear steering was broke loose. I was driving my rear steering running back and forth on me.
So maybe it was you having to rev it up a little bit harder than you wanted to?
Yeah, exactly, because I tried to come off the first set of cars there, and I seen him coming. I tried to stay ahead of him, but I was running sideways. I hit the last set of cars and hoped to stay up on his wheels, and it did. So.
2 weeks ago, TNT would not let the Buffalo Tremor race because its alcohol engine did not meet the 500 cubic inch limitation. John Kwasniewski has now switched to a gas engine, and he's also having trouble getting the air-fuel mixture right in Bowling Green. He talked with Kris about that problem.
No, it's not. 2 weeks ago, they shut us down because they said we were running alcohol with too much cubic inch. So we got to change it around and try to run it on gas, and we just got to work the bugs out of it now and try to get it to run.
So it's just a fuel adjustment?
I hope that's what it is. We're going to try and see what happens in the first round.
Johnny K, John Kwasniewski out of the Buffalo, New York area, goes up against John Moore in the no-problem Ford Bronco, and this one's going to be all no problem. Another truck obviously not getting the fuel where it needs to go, and John Moore records the win out of Lafayette, Tennessee. So John Kwasniewski will finish the run, but boy, he's got absolutely nothing to be happy about at this point as the problems continue, and it's all fuel problems trying to get it converted properly to a gasoline-powered engine. The run of John Moore's no problem looks very good, very strong, and Kwasniewski never got it going. It is an understandably disgusted John Kwasniewski who hops out of the Buffalo Tremor. The points as we enter the competition today in Bowling Green, Equalizer's lead over Bigfoot is now 16. The Auto Value King Krunch and Carolina Crusher still very much alive for the championship. Awesome Kong remains in that number 5 spot where he's been for quite some time. USA 1 is 6. Then it's Gravedigger, Nightlife, Outlaw, and the struggling Buffalo Tremor rounding out the top 10 on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Bigfoot, the original monster truck on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge, will be coming into competition a little bit later, but we want to talk about another of the originals. You know, Bigfoot was the first, but this one wasn't far behind him. Jeff Dane and the King Kong camp out of Texas were one of the strongest running trucks for years. Then they went to the Awesome Kong setup, the unique, radically designed Awesome Kong with the thin body styling set on a standard monster truck frame. Now they have brought King Kong back out of mothballs, and Steve CAIN, who has driven Awesome Kong for quite some time, is back behind the wheel of the truck he started racing in, King Kong. His competition, the Nightlife Chevrolet of Dave Wyzorek, and King Kong is looking very, very good. Hold on! Steve CAIN looked like he couldn't get her stopped, but he got the victory in the King Kong truck. I'll tell you, he got a win, but it's a costly win. You can see the smoke. I mean, he just starts busting parts everywhere at the end of the run. You can see underneath the truck all kinds of stuff coming out from underneath the King Kong. Let's get a real good look at the mechanical problems here. Watch underneath the truck as Steve CAIN ends this race a lot lighter than he started it because he left a whole bunch of parts on the course. Boy, there you see it. Just exploded a shaft out of the back. Steve CAIN wins it in King Kong, but obviously it's a costly victory. Let's go to Kris Chapman, who's with Steve now.
You and King Kong were running fantastic, and then the fate of Bad Luck struck.
Yeah, I threw both my drive shafts out. Come up and hit the bottom of the transmission pan, but other than that, I can get the rear drive shaft back in, you know, but I can't make it fast enough, you know, get back out there and run again.
How in the world are you running so strong? I've never seen a truck run that good.
Well, I just go out there and, you know, when the accelerator hits the floor, you hear this clunk, and that's where I hear it. You know, when I hear that clunk, I know that's the fastest truck will go, you know. If I feel if the drive shafts hadn't broke, everybody out here would have been seeing the back end of King Kong tonight.
Isn't that an interesting statement with all the talk we've heard in 1990 about you have to have the new chassis, you have to have all the new parts and all the new gimmicks. Here's one of the originals, one of the old war horses. And I'll tell you, he flat had them covered without the earlier problems. And it's, you know, it's a truck that's going to keep running here for a while out of the Dane camp out of Texas. We may see King Kong winning an event or two, or at least giving a lot of these newer trucks runs for their money in the coming weeks on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. We'll talk about another truck that's been around for a while, the Carolina Crusher. Gary Porter keeps wanting to retire this truck and build his new one, but the truck's running well. He won the event a week ago, and he's looking good today. He takes out Wild Hair in the quarterfinal round of competition after beating the Wild Hair earlier. Wild Hair got back in as a fast loser. Crusher obviously the big favorite here. Identical looking race to the first time they met today, and Carolina Crusher again gets the win. But as Gary Porter mentioned earlier, he doesn't seem to be able to get the top end speed at the end of the course that some of the other trucks are getting because he doesn't have the right gear. However, he has plenty to take care of Marvin Swift's Wild Hair. We're going to look at it one more time as the Carolina Crusher looking good here, but it remains to be seen what's going to happen to him when he meets some of these faster trucks in later rounds. Again, because of what he talked about earlier in his interviews with us. He just doesn't have the gear to get out the back door like he needs to. Still, he's advanced into the semifinals. Next up, John PIANT's Bigfoot Ford against Scott Stevens and the Auto Value King Krunch. Stevens gets in through the fast loser rule and gets a shot at Bigfoot.
Scott, it looks like it's going to be you coming back as the fast loser, and you're going to be pitted right against Bigfoot. How do you feel about that matchup?
Well, I'm not going to say much. Every time I say good, it always ends up knocking us in the face. But we're running a second quicker right now than he did in that last round. He's going to have lane choice, though, from his qualifying. So, you know, Paint probably didn't run that round as hard as he knew because the truck that he was racing wasn't that good. But, you know, we ran a quick round before, so we know we can run right with him. And that's what we need to do, is just not let it intimidate me like it has the last couple of weeks. You know, I can't oversteer like I have been tonight.
When we return to the TNT Monster Truck Challenge on ESPN, it's Bigfoot and King Krunch in the quarterfinals. Scott Stevens and the Auto Value King Krunch, who just a moment ago told Kris Chapman he was confident of a victory over the Bigfoot Ford. Well, Kris Chapman caught up with John PIANT to see what he thought about Mr. Stevens' confidence and his statement.
John, we just spoke with Scott Stevens, who you're going to be running because he's coming back as the fast loser. He says that he's about a second faster and doesn't think he's going to have any problems with it.
Well, right off the bat, I was going to stick him in the bad lane of the two, so that's going to give me a little bit of advantage. And I think the Ford Bigfoot's running really well tonight. I don't think Scott will be able to keep up with us.
So is that's it? You're going to beat him?
It'd be hammered down, and if he's going to have to drive around me, he'd get past me.
Both drivers predicting victory. Only one of them can be right. We're going to find out which one can back up the lip service. Now, again, these two camps have kind of been nitpicking at each other all year in terms of the fact that Scott Stevens has been one of the most vocal critics of the Bigfoot 8 truck, and the Bigfoot camp has not been happy with Stevens. Head-to-head, this one will go to the Auto Value King Krunch. So, Scott Stevens got to be excited about that head-to-head victory, just his second ever over Bigfoot. And the Auto Value King Krunch puts it in the winner's circle as he knocks off an obviously struggling Bigfoot Ford. On the replay, a good run. Boy, Stevens really had a whole head of steam up when he hit that second set of cars and puts Bigfoot away, frankly, very easily. John PIANT looking very disgusted as a broken driveline is sidelined the Ford Bigfoot. Well, Army Armstrong, it's time for the semifinals.
Well, the Chevrolet people of Bowling Green, Ohio got to be tickled to death right now. We're down to 4. They're all Chibbies. Here we go. We got the North Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter. He'll be going against the Nightlife out of Iowa, Dave Weisstork. That comes out of the top bracket. The bottom bracket is going to be represented by the Texas Truck, the Auto Value King Krunch, going against the world champion Equalizer, and all Chevrolet Final 4.
Thanks, Army. We're looking forward to that when we return to the TNT Monster Truck Challenge in Bowling Green, Ohio. It's coming your way on ESPN. Chucked it on the top end of the Semi-final action now coming up in Bowling Green, Ohio on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. The mecca of tractor pulling has also turned out some big numbers to cheer on their favorite monster trucks. And, well, one of the Chevy fans' favorites, that beautiful Nightlife Chevrolet and the old reliable Chevrolet. This is the Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter of Waynesboro, North Carolina. We have documented throughout this broadcast on ESPN that Crusher's looking good. He just doesn't have enough top end because he didn't bring a tall enough gear. Let's see if that gives the advantage to Nightlife. Crusher is out of the blocks in good shape. And he's got plenty to put away the Nightlife. So Gary Porter, unhappy with his gear selection, nonetheless, has got enough to get into the finals as he decidedly defeats the Nightlife Chevrolet. Boy, he looks so good in between the sets of cars and is so smooth and has so much momentum built up. He just hits that second set of cars with everything he needs. Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher, coming right into your living room and heading right into the Monster Smash Final. Army Armstrong is going to talk with the very personable Gary Porter of the Carolina Crusher.
We started this thing talking about all the controversy over the new trucks in 1990. You're running one of the oldest trucks in the circuit and going into the final, Gary.
You know, Armin, that's what I was just thinking about. Do I need to build a new truck? You know, this truck is working, you know, it's working this track right here, you know, perfect. You know, I'm lining up a little bit on the left side of the cars at a little angle, and, you know, I'm bouncing over to the left a little bit, but, you know, it seems to be lining me up just perfect for the second set of cars.
You know, when you go to the bank to deposit that winning check, they don't ask you if it's a new truck or an old check. They just want to make an old truck. They just want to make sure the check's good, right?
That's right. The truck is really working this course good for me, and you know, I'm really pleased with it. Except I wish I had just a little bit higher gear ratio in it. I'm turning the motor a little bit too high.
Again, Porter mentioning the gear ratio, and you know, in the Monster Smash Final, he's either going to have to take on an Auto Value King Krunch that's running very smoothly, or the pet truck, the defending world championship truck, the Equalizer, with its rookie driver, Greg Holbrook, out of Springfield, Tennessee. That's what's coming up here in the semifinal round, Krunch and Equalizer. And you know, the Auto Value King Krunch, like the Carolina Crusher, still has hopes of coming from behind and surprising the Equalizer and Bigfoot to win this 1990 World Championship. Well, if Krunch wants to make up some ground, the way you make up the most ground is to win head-to-head against the guys you're trying to catch. Just a little bit ago, Krunch got a win over Bigfoot. Can he do it to Equalizer? We'll find out. He missed the cars. Krunch missed the cars. Equalizer beat him anyway, but that's going to be a disqualification as Scott Stevens completely missed the second set of cards. Now, when we go to the replay, again, remember the TNT ruling on making a legal run is that you must go up the ramp and hit that first car with both of your front wheels. And Scott Stevens doesn't even get close. He barely got one wheel on the car. And the Equalizer had a beautiful, smooth run. We're isolated on Greg Holbrook and the Equalizer Chevrolet. Nice and smooth in between the cars. And with a whole bunch of momentum, he blows it out the other end for the win.
Greg Holbrook, you and the Carolina Crusher in the final. Last time you guys paired up, he nailed you. What's going to happen tonight?
Last time Armory lost is my fault. I believe this time on this track, our truck, it can't be beat.
He's talking about gearing. He says he's running at his maximum gearing. Have you pulled everything out of this truck you can tonight?
No, I hadn't yet. I haven't been turning about 6,500 RPMs all night long.
You're going to be in a winner's circle?
I sure hope so. I'm going to give it all I got.
Boy, that may be the key to what's going to happen in the final. Holbrook says he's got plenty left, more cards to play, and it appears the Carolina Crusher has had to use everything he's got to get us this far. Again on the replay, Scott Stevens and the Auto Value King Krunch goes way off course, completely misses the cars, and is disqualified, allowing Equalizer to win it easily. Kris Chapman has caught up with Scott Stevens to see what his problem was on that second set.
Scott, before you were disqualified, it looked like you had him.
Yeah, the truck was running real good, and our suspension unloaded a little on me, and I got back in the gas a little too hard at the wrong time. It just kind of steered itself off the track. But, hey, you know, the Auto Value King Krunch truck's still together, and we're happy about that. We ran some good times, and, you know, we'll just put our stuff together for next week and, you know, put it all together.
That puts Carolina Crusher and Equalizer into the Monster Smash on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. We'll return to Bowling Green in just a moment. You'll see the finals right here on ESPN. Bowling Green, Ohio, on the the TNT Monster Truck Challenge has brought it down to a final two. A couple of Chevys, the Carolina Crusher and the Equalizer. Army Armstrong has been closely observing all night long. Let's get Army's thoughts before the championship matchup.
Well, the final set in Bowling Green, we said earlier, is going to be an all-Chevrolet show. Here's the way it goes down. The last time these two trucks met, the yellow truck won. The old pro, Gary Porter, he intimidated this kid out of Tennessee. The driver from Tennessee says he made a mistake. It's not going to happen again. The kid from Tennessee going against the old pro. It's final time. Let's see who's going to nail this one.
Certainly, the driver's experience level is a factor, but the bigger factor from what the guys have been telling us in the interviews all throughout today's program is that Carolina Crusher, despite the fact that he's gotten to the final, just doesn't have quite enough gear. And now that he has to go head-to-head with the Equalizer, he may have a big problem. The Equalizer will be on the right-hand side of your screen, Crusher on the left. In the Monster Smash final at Bowling Green, it's showtime! Even to the second set. That gearing situation for Carolina Crusher apparently left him about one truck length short, and the Equalizer has taken home the title from Bowling Green, Ohio. Watch it again and note that out of the hole they're even. Coming to the second set they're even. But the taller gear apparently gives it to the Equalizer and Greg Holbrook. He's your winner in Bowling Green, Ohio on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. We're isolated on Greg Holbrook in the Equalizer. A beautiful, straight, smooth shot that puts him in victory lane. Equalizer wins it. Greg Holbrook and Gary Porter will join Army Armstrong in the winner's circle.
Well, the finals went down in Bowling Green. Reverse the tables from the last time these two trucks met. This kid's definitely learning, isn't he, Gary?
He is. He's learning real fast. You know, he has an excellent truck. You know, Gary Cook built him to drive, and he's doing an excellent job driving. You know, I felt like I made a real good pass that run. I got a little too low a gear in my truck tonight, but I'll gear it up for tomorrow night. You know, we'll be back strong.
Well, nothing to be ashamed of. As usual, you did a great job. Let me bump over and talk to this kid. Hey, you're making a name for yourself. You're like a gunfighter of years ago. You're starting to knock off all these big guys, and they're going to be coming back after you hot and heavy now.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good luck. Gary's got the truck set up good. All I had to do was drive the truck. He'd already proven the truck would work.
You keep saying all you have to do is drive the truck, but, not everybody can do that. There's got to be a talent to driving this truck.
You just have to watch the cars. It's just like any other kind of sport. You got to be able to read the track and know what your truck will do every time.
You got to stay out on Bigfoot in the points chase. Tonight was something you had to do.
Yeah, we need to get as far as we can before they bring 8 back out. He's going to be real tough.
Well, it's not that much longer before Bigfoot 8 will be back on the circuit. But will the lead be too big to make up? Equalizer is now stretched to 30 points over Bigfoot. The Automatic King Krunch and the Carolina Crusher are still right there, but they got a lot of ground to make up before they can catch the Equalizer. Awesome Kong still number 5. Then it's USA 1, the Gravedigger, the Nightlight, the Outlaw, and Buffalo Tremor rounding out the top 10 on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge for the 1990 racing season. Once again in Bowling Green, Ohio at the Wood County Fairgrounds, Equalizer does what he has to do. He takes home the victory, and he puts a lot more points between himself and the Bigfoot Ford. One more time, you're going to see the winning run in Bowling Green. We'll be looking for you next time with Army Armstrong and Kris Chapman as the TNT Monster Truck Challenge continues the battle for deciding the 1990 World Champion. Keep it right here for the best monster truck action on ESPN.